Let's have a look at embedding an image into this Photoshop document now instead of linking. So we'll go up to File and Place Embedded, and I'll go and get this picture of the sky. So as you can see, it's a bit wonky and it's not filling the frame fully. So Command and minus, we can zoom out a little bit, Shift and Alt, and we can resize this image because it's been placed into this Photoshop document with handles so that we can move it around, and we can move it down as well so that we can try and get the horizon line at the bottom and then a bit more sky up at the top. And there's a center rotation point here which I can move about, and that will be the new pivot point. So if you do want to move your images around, rotate them to try and get them right, like this one needs to be fixed, then remember you've got this central pivot point which is in the middle of the picture, but you can move it around and put it wherever you want. I'm not going to line it up properly like this. I'm going to show you a different way of doing that as well, rather than trying to do this by eye. So I've moved it down. I'm happy with the position, reasonably happy with the position, and I'll press tick or press return to commit to this transformation, this resizing and moving of this image. And now what I want to do is line up the horizon. So if we go over to the toolbar where the eyedropper tool is, but hold our cursor down, mouse down on it, and you'll see in amongst these things there's the ruler tool. So we'll select that and we will just click and drag across something that we think is the straight horizon here. And now up at the top here you can see it says straighten layer. So if we press that, then it will move it around, and that looks pretty straight to me. So this is an embedded image in here. It's linking to the original file, and we can't do anything to it at the moment. So if I wanted to change the brightness or contrast or the colours, whatever, I'm unable to do that when I go up into image and adjustments. As you can see, they're all greyed out, so I can't do anything to it. So what I need to do is I need to rasterize this layer. I need to turn it into a bitmap so that we can then work on it and do Photoshop things to it. So there's a couple of ways I can do this. I can press Control and then click, and I can go to Rasterize Layer in this menu, or with this layer selected, that's selected there, it's highlighted in blue, go up to Layer up here, and then I can go to the Rasterize options here. So I can rasterize a smart object, which is what this is. It's got the little smart object icon in the bottom right corner. I can rasterize the layer that is selected, or I can rasterize all layers. We haven't quite finished with the square logo yet, so I'm not going to rasterize all layers. I'm just going to rasterize this particular layer. So now this is editable. I can change things, I can do Photoshop stuff to it, and you can see in the icon of it and the thumbnail here there's no little smart object icon. So now I want to go back up to image adjustments, and I have all of these available to me. So let's just go to the histogram in levels and beef this image up a bit. So I'm just showing you a few little tweaks with your photos here. This is curves. And then let's just go to vibrance, turn on saturation a bit. Okay. So this layer is on top of the logo that we made, and I've tweaked that logo a little bit. I'm going to drag that above here, so there we go. And I'm going to just play about now with some of these layer composite effects. So normally you would, if you wanted to have one thing shine through another, you would go and play with the opacity as the default kind of thing. Oh, I want it to be a bit see-through, so I'll turn down the visibility of it. But there's these composite modes available to you here with these different layers that you've got selected. So we've got this one selected on top of this sky, and if we go and pick something like soft light or overlay, you can see how the two different layers start to work together to create something new. And you can, in combination with a bit of opacity changing, this is quite an interesting thing to play about with. It can go a bit weird as well, like that. Let's leave it like that for now, and remember we can still change this logo in Illustrator. This is just an effect that's being put on it here. So if I pop over into Illustrator, so let's say people have been looking at our work, they think it's good, but it could do with something else. It needs a circle inside the middle of it as well. So let's just make a circle then. Thanks for your suggestions. Do that there. Different colour. What colour should you have? A green. No stroke, so we're going to turn off the stroke up here like that. And it's in the wrong place though. It's on top of things, so we might want to start playing about with our layers here. So we can move this around and put that underneath there. So that's swapping the layers around in the same way that we would have done in Photoshop as well. So let's save that, jump back into Photoshop, and you can see now that's updated itself what's happened. I'm going to change that one a bit more. And let's put this square on top of it, like that. Save that and see what that looks like. I preferred it as it was. So a couple of undos in Illustrator and we're back where we were. Save that again, and we're back to that in Photoshop.